What's good, everybody? This is Y and Z. It's been a minute. Conversation between the generations. I represent the Y, aka the millennials. That young whippersnapper right over there is the Z, Xavier Lewis. How was your summer break, sir? Are you rested? You charged? Because I see one of us grew a beard, the other didn't. It's only been a couple weeks. I heard you've been at this journey for a minute. But yeah, how you doing, sir?
Let me just say this. People get a year older, and he was over there rubbing Ben Gay on his knees, and he
Sir,
think he could just bust out these facial hair jokes.
I
But
mean,
we ain't having that. We
I'm
ain't
just
having
saying.
that going into the fall.
I've already been trimming this, bro. Like this ain't even like just full month grow. I've already trimmed it down. Like that's how we
Hey,
go.
I can't, I'm growing my sideburn.
I mean, the sideburns is part of the Lewis brand. You like them pork chops back in like the
Got to. I
70s.
can't grow. Nothing else is growing right now. I cut off the bit of goatee I had. I was like, maybe if I just start cutting it off, it'll grow back better. I don't know. I don't know.
Some people got it.
Some people don't.
Some people don't. I mean, at least you got it up here though. As
Oh
at
yeah.
least you know. Oh yeah, clean today. Yeah, shiny, shiny. Anyways, like, share,
Crazy.
subscribe. All this is a conversation between the generations. We find where we align, we find where we don't align, we find where Gen Z, as we all know, is just a little touched in the head. And so I woke up ready to come back choosing violence. And so I need to go to my phone just to remember how I phrased this because I'm gonna go ahead
Uh-huh.
and kick this off with some violence. Here we go. Especially since the Olympics are wrapping up. It's been a good competition season. 90s 2000s culture is to Gen Z current culture what Simone Biles is to gymnastics and everybody else on the field.
Y'all can't have Simone Biles.
We are not claiming Simone Biles. That's not what I'm doing.
I would say honestly though, I don't know.
Okay. And
I
here's
would
why.
say
Here's why I make
Gabby
that.
Douglas maybe.
No. So it's not the person. Here's the correlation. Why I make the correlation. Everybody, you hear all the noise. Why is Simone's scores so high? She's not doing, she don't look like she's doing much. Simone's scores are so high, and what she's doing is because her difficulty is that much higher. What she's doing is that much harder than everybody else, and so therefore, yeah, the execution may not be as clean. She has a little more room for mistakes, so to say, but because what she is doing is so incredibly difficult, it cancels each other out. Hence, 90s 2000s culture. It may not have been the cleanest. Y'all like to talk about how the scene was jacked up and ain't the best and yada yada yada, but what was being done and what was being executed is so legendary and transcendental that y'all can't even touch it. And so that's why I'm saying Simone Biles is to
Ah, I
gymnastics.
I see what
What
you're saying.
that
I
that's
see.
that's the correlation. I'm not claiming Simone. I'm claiming what she is and what she's representing and what she's doing to the game. That's essentially 90s 2000s culture.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You saying like basically the quality of what was coming out in the 90s versus the quality of present day. Like, as far like us, my present day culture, we're just putting out a lot. The quality isn't all that, 90s though. It wasn't necessarily just like an over flood, but the quality was there. So even if it was messed up, it would still be higher than what it is today.
What they were doing, you were like, oh, y'all were pushing boundaries. Y'all were going harder and further, jumping higher. All doing new moves that nobody thought could be done. And literally, since then, y'all are kind of like, we don't know where to go.
I mean, but is that really our fault? The 90s were different. Where else could you go after that?
Where else are people going to go after Simone? You got to find a way. Just because,
But you, I
just
mean,
just
where
because
else can
Simone
you
comes
go?
and kills the game doesn't mean that the gymnastics are going to stop.
They're not going to stop. I think it's just honestly, do we see gymnastics having a 2000s esque run in the future? Does it not get better? It just
Well,
gets.
I think that's what's interesting to see because I think if we look at what gymnastics has been, especially since our people have been paying attention more, like you look at like what Dominique was doing in the 90s, you look
Right,
at
right,
what Gabby came along and did earlier in the 2010s and leading into Simone. It's been that period of building to the mountaintop, which I would say is similar to, yeah, nobody's saying Gabby wasn't it. Nobody's saying,
right.
Dominique
Dominique,
wasn't
what
it,
it is.
yada yada.
Right,
No,
right,
we're saying essentially Simone is the peak. And I think
right,
that's the same thing you can be said about 90s, 2000s, because yeah, your 60s led into your 70s, which led into your 80s, which then led to the peak. The question is now, what do you do after the peak? Because I think part of the problem is y'all don't want to admit that that was a peak. Y'all are still trying to claim that no, what we're doing is just as good, and it's like no, 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 it's
Well,
no
somebody needs to let that dog die. I mean, I think even the whole world
growth,
as
sir,
a culture,
growth. That's
you
growth.
know, the world as a culture just needs to understand the 90s, it was a peak in a lot of different ways. You know what I'm saying? It was just not even just music culture, economy wise. It was just a peak in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
If you took advantage of it correctly. And so now we got this point where we're kind of like, where do you go after that? And what we've seen is just, especially in my culture, there's a bunch of repeats, attempts to do it again
Right.
and rebrand it. And it's kind of like, we know what it is. It's just the same thing.
And nobody's trying to push it forward, or simply if people are trying to push it forward, it's hard to get recognized because as even you mentioned, things are there's so much out there that it's just like okay, I don't know where to go. And naturally, as human beings, if you're faced with too many choices, you're going to
It
fall
becomes
back into what's
familiar.
comfortable.
Right.
You're
You're
going,
just familiar.
yeah.
So I think it's hard. And like you said, I think it's gonna be interesting that how, even in Olympics gymnastic culture, what that's gonna go from. Because like you said, we might have proverbially hit our peak. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Are we just gonna see repeats? Are we gonna allow room for growth? Because I think what happened was, to your point though, I don't think people allow for growth after the 90s.
It's after the 90s, yes. It's really post like late 2000s that all of a sudden it became we have to we're trying to do this and strike gold. Nobody wants to push it to strike gold, but we're all trying to strike gold. And so what's the most definitive bet I can place with the best odds? It's
Right,
going to strike gold.
right.
And what's going and most what we see happen more than likely is, oh, this was hot before. How can I recreate it?
Right. And that's the thing. Like nobody, I don't think anybody in the 90s had the mindset of if it's broke, don't fix it. Everybody in the 90s was, I mean, I'm not gonna say everybody because you had your stragglers here and there, but most people in the 90s, especially that 90s culture, was just like, let's push it to the next place. Whereas people after that post 90s era is just kind of like, if it's broke, let's not fix it. Let's just go back to what it's always been doing it. But we've never seen that work like that. What we've seen work is the push. The push is what works.
What let me switch this up just a little bit because I think because what we've talked about before is y'all have so many opportunities, y'all don't have any boundaries.
Right.
The sky is like it's always the sky is endless. You can achieve whatever, but no, for y'all, truly there have been no boundaries. And really, what this brings up, I don't know if you saw there was a clip of Manny Fresh I saw the other day talking about how essentially every beat he produced or every song he created, he was boxed in by the amount of sounds he could have. So
Really?
the machine and the technology,
Right, right, right.
any song, he essentially broke it down that any song you hear that he produced back then had 8 possible drum sounds or eight. I had 8 slots. Once those 8 were filled, that was it. Whereas now, essentially, you can have as much as you want. There are no boundaries. There are no limitations. You are free to go wherever you want. And y'all, and I am one who believes to an extent, boundaries are what establish creativity.
And that's the thing, like I've said before, we went from one end of the spectrum completely to the other end, not realizing we didn't need to go way over here. We could have just got to the middle where we still have boundaries, where we still push creativity, but it's not like here's everything, work with it. Because then that leaves so much room for just trash. If we just being real, a lot of trash is being made because it's just too much to intake in, and you don't know how to filter it correctly. The reason why, like you said, to that point, a Manny Fresh can make amazing dope music and beats like he did. It's because he had a limited repertoire. He didn't have a full MacBook with 100+ sounds that he could play around with.
I opened up the fridge and I had some chicken, some ramen
You
noodles,
see what I'm saying?
2 eggs, half a pack of ketchup, an old jar of soy sauce, and I made a masterpiece meal because that's what I had. And I versus now, it's I open up the fridge. Do I want chicken,
I got chicken, beef,
pork?
shrimp,
I got
pork.
I got rice, I got ramen noodles, I got some veggies over here. I got every veggie I want. I got a bunch of different, and then you don't know where to go versus this what I gotta make something out of what I have.
Not and even worse. And let's be real, because this is where my generation is. I don't even have to go to the fridge. I can sit in my bed and order it from my phone.
Right. Right. You ain't gotta get dressed. You ain't gotta, and
Right.
and what you're making is just for you. You don't care. Even though they try to sell it,
Right.
even though y'all try to sell us, oh, I'm trying to make something like and that's a mean judgment. Everybody trying to make something that somebody else feels is hot. But y'all are in more of a freedom space to where y'all have this attitude of, well, if you don't like it, that's fine. This for me. Or I'm sure or one person out there will like it, or a small crowd, but it's not the mainstream, the big, the everlasting.
Right. I think one thing my generation is missing out on, like we said before, is like that focus group, that sense of community. These people I can run this by to make sure, hey, is this gas? Is this fire? Like, is this really what I think it is? Because I'm sold, but I need other people to be sold on it too before I put it out for major consumption.
Well, not even necessarily is this gas, is does this fit the lane that gas is? We know what gas is, or we know the lane it has to be.
Right,
Versus now it's
right.
just, yeah, is this gas? I mean, I guess.
Could
That's
so could
that's
that could that be could that be an issue? Like we just have so many we've in this whole space of developing our own lanes and that whole all of that. Could that be the issue? Is
hell
that
yeah.
we
Hell
created too
yeah.
many lanes of what gas and what fire is?
No, not even what they are. It's simply too many lanes. Because I think like everybody pre y'all essentially. We grew up with
Right,
a
right.
strong mainstream because even though that mainstream eventually did grow, there's definitely growth, but it was still the mainstream highway. It went from a 1 lane highway to a 2 lane highway to a 4 lane highway. Still a highway that we all had to get on. Now y'all are used to the okay, I go this road, 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 this like take TV for example. You had your cable, your prime time, and then a couple premium channels. Now y'all got cable, y'all got streaming, y'all got services. Like it's too many options. Like it was funny. I was watching Fresh Prince the other day, just yesterday, because it was just on. It was like, man, I ain't seen this episode in years, but I can spit it word for word because I've seen it 50 million times because it was on
Because it
repeat.
was only what was
It
available
was
for you to
only
watch.
what was available. And it makes me appreciate it. It made me spend time with it. But I'm glad to see you didn't fight that too hard. You got a good see in your new year, even though we're a couple months into it. We're just starting this new season, though. You seem to be a little wiser, a little older, sir. I'm happy. I'm happy. Y and Z conversation between the generations. Jay Clark, the Y, millennials, Xavier Lewis, the Z, Zennials, Gen Z. How are the babies?
We're not the babies. That's Generation Alpha.
I know I'm raising one. Anyways, sir, what you got in your mind this week?
Man, look, I'm gonna get a little serious, man, because we
Uh,
coming up. We already know it's 2024. It's an election year.
oh, Jesus Christ.
And I just want to have a serious conversation, Clark, because I think that my generation, your generation, honestly, all generations in this African American culture, the importance of voting, man. I know we're not sponsored by anybody, but the importance of voting is crazy. And don't let this be, let me just say this. We love how Barack Obama got in office, 2008. But let's be real. Everybody voted for Barack. Not going to say everybody. The majority of people that voted for Barack. They was like, oh, he black. Let me vote for him. They ain't know a liquor policy that he was representing. They didn't know anything he talked about. They just like, he black, let's vote for him. So I think my point is what I'm saying is,
Okay.
let me get to the point.
Get to the point. Yeah.
The point is educate yourself, bro. I think we just need to understand that if we educate ourselves about what's to come, and let's just say you're not even a big fan of national elections, I ain't gonna fight you on that. At least educate yourself about what's going on in your city, your mayor, who your aldermen are, city councilmen are, or whatever like that. Educate yourself somehow. Just be educated about the facts and stuff like that. Cause it's a lot of it's a lot of movements and a lot of things happening deciding us that we don't know about. And that's kind of like that's crazy. That's crazy. Decisions about us and we know nothing about them.
So y'all, what you're seeing now is a little taste, and I'm just going to speak to some of the positive stuff because we're essentially sitting here a couple days after the VP pick has been announced,
Yeah.
and July was long. A lot of shit happened.
Bro,
A lot of shit
I'm
happened
telling
in
you,
July.
if we was recording in July, it would have been a
Um, I'm gonna just leave that alone. There are questions. Anyways, what you're seeing is some of the energy that we had in '08. Because like it wasn't just that we had Obama. It's like you gotta think. That was my junior year in school. Junior year, somewhere around there. So that was so for a lot of us millennials, the half of the first half of millennials, because like I said, I'm the midpoint. So for a lot of us, that was our first, like, oh yeah, we can vote. This is
right, right.
this is it. And so you really got that chance. Oh, okay, we can vote. Barack was the hope, the change, new energy, all that, which is what you're seeing now with Kamala. And I think and we've seen it in the numbers. So that energy is important and all that kind of stuff. But as you say, it's not just always about the energy, because there is some common sense here. And
Right.
please, if you need to educate yourself, go out there, educate yourself. If you don't want to do some reading, just don't be a dumb motherfucker. Because the other side is just that wild. Like at some point, as our new VP pick says, these modes are weird.
Weird.
Weird. At some point, that's got to be enough. Like, this is weird. And it's been weird for a long time. And finally, as I saw somebody call it out on X the other day, they're like, we've been hearing this both sides ish for so long that finally somebody said, stop, this ish is weird. And we're all like, yeah, you're right. And it's just that simple. That stuff is
Like,
weird.
I don't think people understand. If you wouldn't let this person, let's just make it simple. Let's just make it plain and simple. You wouldn't let this person come in your house, but you would let them run the White House?
As I saw, I gotta pull it up now. I just saw it this morning. Somebody put out there. Oh, no, it's on my eyes. Sorry, I gotta pull up the IG because that's where I saw it. Oh, where is my stories? I sound old right there. So essentially, somebody broke it down and said this election is essentially America's fun aunt and America's fun dad versus a convicted felon and your weird cousin. And that's what it is.
Bro, that's
I,
exactly what it is.
I ain't got much to say after that, to be honest, because I'm not trying to get in trouble right now.
Right, right. People have their own political affiliations. People get a little touchy,
right,
whatever. But I just had to say that
I'm
because
right.
I don't want us to feel like you being oh so different, like the conversation we just had. It ain't rocket science. It's not rocket science. This is not the time to be making these same decisions y'all was making when y'all was dropping them trash mixtapes.
Okay. Here's what I'll say. To all these people who are like, because the whole before Kamala times, it was the worst of two devils, the worst of two evils, whatever. That's has slightly shifted, but you still got folk who I think are being difficult just for the sake of being difficult, and we all
Right.
know who those people are. And let me just say this: stop,
Please.
stop, make a choice. Put your man or woman draws on. Be an adult and make a choice. If you don't want to make a choice, understand that not making a choice is essentially giving more power to the other side. And then if you don't, and if but outside of that, simply if you don't want to make a choice, shut the fuck up about what happens after because you didn't help to make a choice. Stop complaining.
Simple as
You ain't if you're not gonna get out there and vote and use your right, whatever you believe about the system, whatever. Get out there and vote. Because as we've seen, black people don't get out there and then we like to complain. If we
oh
understood we
yeah.
actually got out there and made some noise, which we have seen slightly lately with some things happening, understand what
Yeah.
you can do by making some noise and then actually backing that up. But anyways, just get out there and vote. Simple as that. I'm not going to tell you who, what to vote for, but vote. Get out there and vote. Use your power. Too many people died for that issue. Anyways, let's have some fun before we get out of here. Y and Z conversation between the generations. As my young brother mentioned, I had a birthday just last week. Leo season,
Oh yes, sir.
best season in the world. We're gonna
And
bring something new to the show. We're gonna switch out some recommendations and have some more battle versus type of things. And so, what we're gonna do today is debate a 3v3 song based off the month and year that you were born. So, I'm gonna put together a 3-song playlist from July of '87. That young whippersnapper gonna put together a 3-song playlist from April of 2002. Any genre, whatever. All we're basing it off of songs that were in the top 40 at the time. So this is mainstream stuff everybody should know. Nothing that you really know about nowadays, anything like that. But um,
understand what the beef is. You be
mainstream,
thinking the slickest shots.
y'all. We'll get into that more another day. But anyways, let's have some fun here. I got both the age and the beauty, but I'm gonna let you go first. Go
You
ahead.
want my whole top three, or you want to go one by one?
Let's go. Let's go one by one. Let's go one by one.
Okay.
And then what? And then listeners, what you'll do is you'll vote and let us know who we'll post it and let us know who you think had the best 3-song selection
All
based
righty.
off the year and month that they were born. So once again, this is April 2002 versus July 1987. Top 40 3-song playlist. Number one, sir. Go ahead.
Oops, oh my, by Tweet.
Ooh, that's a good one. It's a good song. Hmm. Okay, then I'm gonna drop this.
If people of my generation don't know what that song is, because I feel y'all itching that y'all might not know what that song is, y'all need to go listen to that song. Like,
That's,
so
that's,
serious.
that's, that's a pretty solid song. You got a stacked selection. I'll match that, sir. My first one. Janet Jackson, Pleasure Principle.
What I be talking about. This is what I be talking about. This is what I be talking about. This is what I be talking about.
I mean, no, now in full honesty, sir, I do believe you have more like as much as I proclaim about older stuff, like your time period that you were working for is stacked.
Now I will say that, like,
You're gonna make me work it.
I didn't realize how good
Thank you. Thank you.
O2 was, if I'm being real. I didn't realize how good O2 was.
O2 is let's picture the peak of the mountain. O2 is like a step once you like, but it's still like you don't know it yet. But
right,
you're
because
you're still in it.
If everything would have played out correctly, O2 would have been that opportunity where your next stars were rising.
Well, no, they were, but what I mean is, especially in an R&B and hip hop sense, 2001 is arguably one of the best years across music. Period. We'll have that discussion another day. But you have a strong time period. It's like so. Song two, sir. What you got?
Song two, I gotta go with my girl. I think she was just a very monumental voice during this time period anyway. As like the 2000s period. I gotta go with Foolish by Ashanti.
Oh. Oh.
I gotta go with that.
Okay, I'm feeling better now. Song
What?
two. I'm feeling
What?
better. Song two. Song two is an all-time great here. An all-time. Sir, I saw what you could pick from. But anyways, personal pick, whatever. Song two here, I'm going Whispers. No. Yeah, Whispers with Rocksteady. That is just a classic feel-good jam. Classic feel-good jam.
I'm not mad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I,
What you got? What you got for number one, sir? And then we'll discuss the
I'm
back end a little bit. But what you got for number one?
I'm debating. I'm debating. Mm, okay, because I gotta put one in there that's like a, and I'm giving my explanation for this one on the front end
Okay.
because I feel a lot of people they skin might itch, but there has never been a point in your life where this song has not been stuck in your head. 1,000 miles, Vanessa Carlson.
Okay, curveball. I was wondering if you was gonna break. I was wondering if
Just
you was gonna
saying.
break. Okay, solid. That actually might be your best pick so far.
I think it really.
That
I
might be your
mean,
best three.
that was you talking about a mainstream
Oh no,
song.
that is a and you broke yes, solid selection. Okay, ooh, that redemption right there a little bit. Okay, and just because I got to come out swinging and I'm going for the belt. Well, hopefully people will vote here. Whitney Houston, I want to dance.
This is what I be talking about. This is what I be talking about. Because you know, there was nothing on my list to fight Whitney.
Sir, we'll get into that in a second. Um,
Let
yeah,
me let me look at it again.
do you, well, we'll get to that in a second. So, do you have an honorable mention real quick? Is there maybe is there one? Because there's one I had that's like I just want as an honorable mention because I had four here. I didn't know which three I was going to pick. Do you have an honorable mention just for fun?
Mm, not really. Hold up. I'm just looking at the list again. I didn't have one off the top of my head, no, but
Okay, so for
what's your
me, it would have been the system. Don't disturb this groove. Um, solid track.
plan with that?
Solid, but I wasn't sure. But okay. So let's recap. Your top three that you're picking from your birth month and year
Mm,
is Tweets, Oh My, Oops, Oh My, Ashanti Foolish, and Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 Miles. Okay.
yeah.
For me, I'm going Janet, Pleasure Principle, Whispers, Rock Steady, Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance. We'll put these up on our socials. Please let us know whose three-song playlist from their birth month and year is the tops. Now, with that being said, sir, before we get out here, I gotta say you should have kicked my ass on this. I don't think you did,
I
cause you
don't think I did. Oh,
like,
that second pick though.
bruh, just just so people get a sense of what O2 we're talking. We're talking. Ain't it funny? You got
Right.
Lincoln Park in the end. You have Usher.
Yeah.
You don't have to call or you got it bad. You got Outcast with the whole world, Mr. Cheeks, Lights, Camera, like you had a plethora of stuff to choose from. So it's interesting that you went the way you did.
But I was looking, so are we looking at like their song impact for that year, that
It's not.
month? Or
It's
we
just
just
a,
like
it's,
looking at
no,
their
no, we're
song
not. No,
impact?
this is just these are my three songs that I'm picking for this playlist. My library that I get to pick from is the top 40 of birth month year. I'm just saying you had a stronger pool of songs than
Then
I
you
believe I did. Because if I go to, when I was looking at the charts for July of 87, I was like, you had, Kenny G, Songbird, Genesis, Smokey's Just to See Her. Like, these are good songs, but they're not like heavy hitters
I
like
see
that,
what you're saying.
you know.
I see
Uh,
what you're saying.
so that's why. But we'll put these up. Please, vote. Let us know who you think had the best three-song selection. Now we're gonna do this going forward. Like I said, it could be anything. We might do TV shows. We might do this is wide variety. We just coming out, like I said, just because I recently just had my birthday. Like, yeah, birthday versus birthday. Let's smack it down. Give the young blood a chance. Because generally these things, it's a smackdown blood fest. He
It
doesn't
really
really stand
is.
a chance.
It really is. But thankfully, O2 was not that bad of a year.
Not that bad. Solid. Very much so. Solid.
I mean, you got my neck, my back.
That was sophomore year of high school. And let me tell you
You was
about
bumping my neck, my back sophomore year of high school.
I was in the
What?
sir, no, sir, the teen club. Let me tell you about a thing called the teen club or teen night at the club. The
Teen night at the club.
teen night at the club. And Jersey had two solid ones back in the day. Anybody who was around in Jersey in the early 2000s knows about Chrome and Abyss.
Didn't you
Because
love that in a team night?
oh yeah, yeah. Like you had to be a teen to get in.
That's
No
actually
drinks
pretty
were no drinks were being sold. A Red Bull and some water, but
right.
nah, it was teen night at the club. That was good times. Good
What
times.
in the world?
Good times. And so yes, so so yeah, a lot of these songs, yeah, Yin Yang Twins, the Whisper, memories. Anyways, let me not get myself in trouble here. It's Y and Z, a conversation. We can get into this a little later another day, but
That's
I'm
gonna
not.
be good to keep going down this route. That's gonna be good to keep going down this road.
Y and Z conversation between the generations. Like, share, subscribe. The J Clark 787 on social medias. The real Xavier Lewis on social medias. Once again, we'll post our. Please let us know whose song list, playlist, verse style you think won in this. Like I said, we're gonna go to wherever the wind takes us with this. But once again, we're back. I guess we'll call this season two, as season one was what it was. It's season two. Until next time, I'm gonna get you some Rogaine for your face. Um, and have a good one. Stay cool out here, sir.
Y'all make sure y'all send him in a bottle of Bengay.
I'll take it because I'll be in the gym. Gym, sir. I'll be getting sore. You see this shirt fitting pretty snug, and it's not a medium. So,
Oh, okay, okay. Hey, look, we love y'all. Y'all have a great day.
till next time, y'all. Peace out.